Good afternoon, the world at noon. I am Ulushayo Babasunde. Nigeria's academic staff union meets over half salary. Police take over Haiti field depot from armed gang. Iranians begin nationwide rally against global arrogance. The Academic Staff Union of Universities says it is set to summon an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council following the decision of the Nigerian government to pay the lecturers house salaries for the months of October. Speaking with newsmen in Abuja, ASU National President Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke confirmed the development, saying though no date had been fixed yet. It was gathered that the decision to convene a meeting followed the drama which erupted when members of the union received half salaries in their accounts. He added that the Minister of Labour and Productivity, Dr. Grace Ngige, wrote to the Office of the Accountant General an integrated payroll in the Personnel Information System to pay only the lecturers for the period when they called off the strike. When contacted by newsmen, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Education, which serves as a supervisory ministry for universities, said they don't pay salaries at the Ministry of Education but urged them to direct their questions to the Office of the Accountant General. The United States Army has promoted a woman of Nigerian descent, Amanda Ezebuke, from Lieutenant Colonel to Brigadier General at a military base in Fort Knox, Kentucky, USA. Born in London, United Kingdom to Nigerian parents, Ezebuke joined the U.S. Army in 1994 and became an aviator after passing the Army Aviation Officer Basic Course. Commenting on her leadership qualities, a U.S. Army Future Commander General James Rainey said that Ezebuke makes everyone around her better. The report has it that after her aviation career, which spanned 11 years, she continued her career in the Army as a Public Affairs Relations Officer. Ezebuke currently serves as a Deputy Commanding Officer at the U.S. Army Cadet Command and previously served as a Chief of Staff, Senior Military Advisor at the Office of the Secretary of Defense. She was also Chief for Public Affairs at the United States Southern Command, Port London area, and the Director of Public Affairs, Joint Force, Headquarters, National Capital Region, Military District of Washington. Security forces in Haiti say they have taken control of a major fuel depot held by criminal gangs. Government says fuel distribution will resume from the Beret terminal in the downtown city next Monday. The gang seeks a port facility in September, blocking the delivery of imported fuel and hampering efforts to distribute food and medicines. According to reports, the terminal supplies most of the oil products in Haiti. Reports has it that the terminal has been controlled and blockaded by a coalition of powerful gangs known as G9 for more than a month. The blockade has forced many businesses to close and complicated the distribution of petrol and bottled drinking water, while a cholera outbreak has worsened by the week. The unrest has also escalated since Prime Minister Ariel Henry announced an end to government fuel subsidies on 11 September, which sent petrol and diesel prices skyrocketing. Amid a turmoil, police launched an operation to take control of the fuel terminal after gunfire was heard in the area throughout the day. Israeli military has carried out a round of airstrikes against the Gaza Strip as the Tel Aviv regime continues with its acts of aggression on the besieged Palestinian coastal enclave. The military alleged in a statement that it's targeted in the early hours of today Hamas underground facility, which the resistance movement used for the production of rocket materials in the central Gaza Strip. It published a satellite photo of what it said was the site, showing an area near several buildings and agricultural plots on the northwest edge of the Al-Maghazi refugee camp. It said it was the third such facility hit since April. Pictures shared on social media showed fireballs and smoke in Gaza from the airstrikes. It was also gathered that successive strikes could be seen hitting the same area repeatedly in unverified video footage as jets were heard screaming overhead. This is the World at Noon coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Voice of the West, Nigeria. Now, our mid-news message. Life is a mixture of ups and downs, but how you treat the two impostors determines who you are. No condition is permanent. At least 127 journalists and media workers have lost their lives during the U.S. invasion of Afghanistan. A new report by the Afghan Journalistic Center showed that in more than 90% of those cases, the ones responsible for the deaths were not brought to justice. The Association of Afghan Reporters is therefore demanding the International Criminal Court to take a look into the killings, as well as ask the Taliban to stay true to what it has promised and show support towards Afghan journalists. These, according to the association, includes ending impunity for crimes against this group of workers who are constantly under danger in a war-torn country. Due to war and insecurity, Afghanistan has been one of the most dangerous countries for reporters, and there have been journalists who gave their lives in line of duty. Iranians from all walks of life have taken to the streets across the country to mark the anniversary of the U.S. Embassy takeover, better known as Den of Espionage, which is named the National Day Against Global Arrogance. Reporters said that protesters are rallying across Iran, including the capital Tehran, as well as 900 other cities across the country. They were chanting slogans, holding banners against the U.S. and the Israel regime and in support of the Islamic Republic. Some 3,500 Iranian and foreign reporters are covering the demonstrations. According to reports, the rallies in Tehran began outside the former U.S. Embassy today, and President Ibrahim Raisi is set to address the event. Other programs such as conferences, forums, and art festivals are underway, with the main theme of fighting global arrogance. And North Korea has fired multiple artillery shots into maritime border zone after South Korea said that the incident came a day after the South and the U.S. announced their decision to extend their 5-day joint military exercises, which have started on Monday. According to South Korea's military, the North fired more than 80 artillery rounds into the sea. Secretary of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, Park Jong-chon, said the decision of the U.S. and South Korea is shoving the present situation caused by provocative military acts of the Allied forces to an uncontrollable phase. In past days, North Korea and South Korea have exchanged missile fires that landed off the coasts of the two neighbors for the first time amid heightened tensions over the joint military exercises by Washington and Seoul. Meanwhile, Pyongyang has demanded that the large-scale joint military exercises be stopped, insisting that the drills are a rehearsal for an invasion of the North. An attack on the convoy of ousted Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has wounded him and many of his supporters who were marching toward Islamabad demanding early elections. According to the police, a gunman opened fire at the campaign truck carrying Imran Khan, wounding him slightly. Since his hostile in a parliamentary no-confidence vote in April, Khan has been alleging that his dismissal was a conspiracy engineered by his successor, Shahbaz Sharif, in the United States. The PTI leadership has directly blamed Prime Minister Shahbaz, Interior Minister Rana Sanallah, and a high-ranking military official for carrying out the assassination attempts. While asking Imran Khan's supporters to stop the blame game, the government has assured every possible support for holding high-profile inquiry into the assassination attempt. Political experts believe that the attack on the PTI party chief will trigger further political instability and chaos in the country. The attack on the former Pakistani premier also sparked countrywide protests and international condemnations. The attack on the former Pakistani minister has further fueled the ongoing political tensions. It is highly believed that more confrontations will be witnessed in days to come in the country's political arena. And here again are the highlights of the World at Noon. The Academic Staff Union of Universities says it is set to summon an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council following the decision of the Nigerian government to pay the lecturers house salaries for the month of October. Security forces in Haiti say they have taken control of a major fuel depot held by criminal gangs. Government says fuel distribution will be resumed from the region next Monday. Millions from all walks of life have taken to the streets across the country to mark the anniversary of the U.S. Embassy takeover, better known as Den of Espionage, which is named the National Day Against Global. That was Say Well That Moon, back it together by Olushayo Babatunde. Next Saturday takes a look at the Nigerian currency, its weights and economic value before and after independence. The piece is written by Sahid Adeboje.
The first major currency issued in Nigeria was shillings and pence. During independence in 1960, Nigeria was still using the currencies of our colonial masters, the Great Britain, as its legal tender. The economy was vibrant then that Nigeria was not only the strongest economy in Africa, but one of the strongest in the world. Companies and industries sprang up. Employment opportunities were made available to an average citizen. But years later, precisely in 1973, Nigeria began to use naira and kobo, which were designed as papers and coins, as its legal tender, with a view to controlling the annual inflation rate below 10%. On February 28, 2007, Nigeria redesigned its currency as part of the economic reforms. 50 naira, 20 naira, 10 naira and 5 naira were designed as polymer banknotes, with 1 naira, 2 naira and 50 kobo as coins. But the financial challenges abound as the highest inflation rate was attained in the second quarter of the year 2022. Price of naira collapsed almost on weekly basis in the hands of US dollar, and as of now, a dollar is sold for 800 naira at the parallel market. Aimed at correcting the abnormalities in the economy as posed by Naira Holding, the central bank expressed its readiness to redesign the Naira. Despite divergent views that have trailed the recent decision of the Apex Bank to redesign 200 Naira, 500 Naira and 1000 Naira, a great number of experts believe that the initiative will be positive for the economy. It should, however, be noted that a large amount of the currency resides with some politicians who have planned to use such for the 2023 general elections, while others, including kidnappers and terrorists who do not patronize the banks, are also killing factors of the Nigeria economy. Their actions are no doubt detrimental, leading to the claim by the central bank that it cannot ascertain the actual amount in circulation. The central bank, which noted that the initiative will help in curbing terrorism and kidnapping due to access of persons to the large volume of money outside the bank system used as source of fund for ransom payment, is also aimed at checking the increasing ease and risk of currency counterfeiting, evidenced by several security reports and the increased risk to financial stability. It is therefore pertinent to state that the initiative of the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign the Naira is a way to withdraw currency from circulation and an unorthodox way of tightening the money supply since the country is battling high inflation. News Talk therefore called on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to monitor the process to ensure that unscrupulous players and currency speculators and their cohorts do not undermine the exercise, just as it calls on the banks to be alive to their obligations by not assisting unscrupulous customers in laundering suspected proceeds of crimes.
That is talk of the importance of redesigning the Naira to improve the nation's economy called for the need to support the decision of the central bank to redesign the Naira in the face of the present economic challenges. The piece was read and written by Sahid Adeboje of our reportorial grid.